And people around me have been saying you're going to create like an unethical society, which because we're working on gene editing too. And so it's like, what if, because you can eventually edit genes to choose selective, and eventually it's you can basically make offspring that would be superior genetically, right? So it's not like these things are all going to happen, and there's going to be a lot of ethical things around there. It's like, are you creating a superior society where people have access to certain technology, medical technology that other people don't, and it's going to widen the gap.
Yes.
It's going to widen the gap that's already so widened.
So who you just saw there was Dr. Adil Khan on the Michaela Peterson podcast, and she brings on all these people that talk about things, enhancements with their body, and what they're talking about here is gene editing. Gene editing, a fact that we can, genetically enhance human beings by marking certain genes, removing certain genes, adding certain things. And this is something that is a new technology. This doctor, what he's working on with stem cells and all that stuff is so new that you can't even get these type of services in the US. They won't even allow for it. You got to go to Abu Dhabi or Dubai or one of them faraway places, or I think he has a lab in Mexico or something. You got to leave out to go do what he's on, this regenerative stuff. But he swears by it. This is the way of the future. All the billionaires are already doing this. This is how they're staying young, by taking our stem cell research. And now we're getting into gene editing. And so we'll be able to enhance people in ways that were impossible in times past. And that's where things are going. That's where things are going, guys. That's what is happening right now. And I want to talk about this because I think it's connected to about biblical prophecy. And we're going to get to that in a minute. But subscribe, like, comment on the video. It goes a long way for us. Here, let's take a look at the 60 Minutes interview right here with Yuval Noah Harari. If you don't know who this guy is, he wrote this book called Homo Deus. And if you don't know what this book's about, you should read it, to be honest, because it's going to tell you where they're trying to take things. It's pretty thick, but you can read it. This is what he says. We will soon, 60 Minutes interview on TV with Anderson Cooper. So it's not like some hidden stuff. This is out there. We will soon have the power to re-engineer our bodies. The power, he says, to re-engineer our bodies and brains, whether it is with genetic engineering or by directly connecting brains to computers. Genetic engineering, that's gene editing. Connecting brains to computers, there's Neuralink, there's Elon Musk. Or by creating completely non-organic entities, artificial intelligence, which is not based at all on the organic body and the organic brain. And these technologies are developing at a breakneck speed. Anderson Cooper admits that this is kind of scary. Like, whoa, this is kind of scary. Like, really? And he's like, yeah, you know what? It's going to widen the gap. It's going to create a biological caste system, and where the rich may have access to these technologies and the poor just won't. It's going to this is the future that we're forecasting. This is what we see taking place. And I want to tell you, man, this technology is already here. The military always gets these things on the forefront. Remember when Obama said this?
Basically, I'm here to announce that we're building Iron Man.
Man, that was back in 2014, I think, or 15 or something like that. Obama admitted the Talos project that they were making Iron Man. They were trying to make Iron Man. Of course, they shut that thing down. I guess maybe the cat was out the bag after he jokingly said this and people were laughing. They tried to laugh it off. Maybe he wasn't supposed to say it like that. But he said, man, we're here to build Iron Man. This is what we're doing. We're going to, through exoskeletons, upgrade the human frame. And you know what? China was like, yo, we're going to one-up you. We're going to one-up you. We coming with Captain China. We're going to make the Chinese version to Captain America. Look at this. This is in 2020. China's doing human testing to create super soldiers, the US officials say, right? China soldiers are marching off the battlefield and into the biology lab. So here we go. China's like, we're going to try to use this gene editing thing to enhance our soldiers, so that they'll need less sleep, so that they'll be stronger physically, so that they may not need to eat as much physically. Like, we can actually edit them so that they'll be stronger, they'll be more warrior-like. They'll have the mentality to just take out a bunch of people. Like, this is what is happening. And you think China's the only one who's doing this? God knows, you better believe the US is trying to get on the forefront of this. France also is trying to do it. Once the cat's out the bag, once one country, no country wants to be left behind on this sort of thing. They're going to want to push this thing forward to get to the bottom of this. And you know what? A Chinese doctor, he had successfully done a gene editing project on somebody, and they actually put him in jail because I guess it wasn't supposed to come out, and it came out or whatever. He was so happy. He edited their genes, some twins or something, so that they can't get HIV. And maybe he gave them some mental or brain enhancements or something like that, where they're actually going to be smarter now. Like, think about that. You can make a breed of people smarter, a breed of people who have a greater ability to focus and to get work done, get things done. Those people are obviously going to be, remember that movie? What's the name of that movie again, man? The one where the guy, Bradley Cooper, was in, he took the NCT Limitless. That was the name of that movie. Remember that? He took that drug and then it made him like a Superman. He went from being like a broke writer who couldn't even focus or couldn't think to like being like the leader of the new world. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is where things are going. They're literally telling us a biological caste system is in the future. And we've seen what caste systems are. Many countries even still have them. You know, the darker skinned people get the lesser opportunities, while the lighter skinned people get more opportunities. The fairer intonation get more opportunities. And we've seen that happen. It could come from the same area. You know, this darker skinned person can't marry this lighter skinned person. And we denounce that. Yet we're going to recreate that kind of idea through genetic modification. And we've already seen what this could look like. We just lived through a time where they literally told us, if you don't take our biotechnological enhancement or upgrade to your immune system, if you don't take our upgrade to your immune system, then you can't go to the gym, you can't go to the restaurant, you can't leave your house, you can't leave the country, you can't do this, you can't do that. You can't work at your job if you don't take this technological upgrade that we are providing for you. So we've already seen what that looks like, and it will only get worse. The gap will only widen as the technology becomes more available to more people. And it's probably a 10, 15, maybe 20-year max curve, because that's the curve. Once these things get into the military, it just takes time for it to trickle down into the major populace. And that's where it's going. So let's look at this. I always got to bring you guys the scripture. Revelation 13. It says, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave. He, here speaking about the false prophet, this is what he's going to do. So think about this. If we're living in a biological caste system where the rich are more well off and they have access to certain medical technologies that's allowing them to live longer, that's allowing them to live a better quality of life and all these things, imagine how the false prophet comes and says, we're going to make this available to everyone. See, oftentimes when we think about these scriptures, we think about worship like in our evangelical context. Like we think people are just going to be lifting their hands and closing their eyes and worshiping the Antichrist, and tears are going to be falling from their eyes. And, you know, that's how we think of it. So if we don't see that, we're like, oh, it's all good. It's not worship. They're not bowing the knee. No, worship is just pledging your allegiance to a person or a system that you believe is going to become your sustenance. It's going to cause you to survive and thrive. And that's what the mark of the beast is. It's just saying, hey, look, sure, there may be some worship where people are bowing down and having trances and having all those spiritual experiences and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's, hey, look, we're going to provide you this beautiful mark. It may upgrade you, and I believe it will have some sort of biological upgrade component to it, because that's the only way the enemy can like mimic, you know, the power of the resurrection that we believe is our portion. It's the only way that he can mimic it is through this sort of thing, right? So he says he's going to cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave. He's going to offer it to everybody. Do away with the caste system, and we're going to offer this technology to everybody. All you got to do is receive a mark on the right hand or on your forehead. Simple. That no one may buy or sell. So your ability to survive, your ability to thrive will be connected to this mark, connected to this technology. No one may be able to buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So there you go. It's coming down the pipeline, guys. You know, most of this technology, I'd probably even say practically all of this technology is probably already here already, you know, in trials, in testing. So if we know that these things are coming down the pipeline prophetically, and just by keeping our eyes open on what's going on in our world today, what a lot of the leading minds in our world are saying, if we just look at that, we can say it's time for us to get ready. And how do we get ready? By putting our faith in Jesus Christ like never before, by having a stronger dependence on God, a stronger connection to the Holy Spirit and to what God is saying and doing, so that we're not having to survive or thrive off the Antichrist system. We're not having to put our faith in the Antichrist system. We have God and we have each other as believers. And that's the system of the kingdom, God's kingdom. You know, it's relational, connection to God, connection to each other. And that's where we really need to be at, not depending on the world, not depending on its system, not depending on the Tower of Babel to make a name for ourselves, hustling to make a name for ourselves, but actually putting our faith in Jesus Christ and receiving the benefit thereof. That's what it's all about. And that's why I did this video, because I wanted you guys to think about that and get ready for what is to come. God bless you, and see you on the next.